Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm going to try my first makeshift live podcast. I don't expect anybody to be on, so it's be better for me. So you're going to have to see a little bit of pre-production podcasting. You can see how hard it is to do by yourself. Okay. Test 1, 2. So test 1, 2. Put a quick post out there for Facebook. See if that showed up here. Alright, yeah, I posted to Facebook. Great. So, alright, I didn't prepare a great show today, but I'm just going to go ahead and wing it. Alright, so let me close this window. Alright. Hey, what's going on? This is another Private Investigator Advice podcast with your host, Andrew Kidd. And I'm going to be discussing some fun stuff today. If you are new to the podcast, we've got some good stuff. This is kind of like for people who are just trying to figure out whether this is kind of like the right job for them. Is this something they want to be involved in? Also, I mean, if you're an investigator already, man, maybe you'll pick up some new tips. Maybe maybe try something new after you've heard one of these podcasts. And if you're a new business owner, well, so am I. And maybe we can talk about maybe our struggles and some of our successes. So yeah, thanks for tuning in and checking things out. You know, I'm also at Private Investigator Advice at PrivateInvestigatorAdviceHQ.com. So obviously you're at the podcast, and I've got some videos as well, and you can link to those by hitting up the website. I've been doing this for about a year, not the podcast, but the whole blogging thing, and kind of sharing my experiences and sharing tips and sharing some of the stuff that's made me, some of the things that have made me successful over my going on 10-year career in this industry. Why I'm still in it, sometimes I don't know, but I've been pretty blessed with my family, and recently I've been able to spend more time with them. So maybe this is what it's been all about. You know, maybe just being able to spend more time with them and more flexibility. And I think a lot has to do with the fact that I did my own business thing, started that up. And you make a little bit more money when you do your own business thing, and so then you don't have to work quite as much. But yeah, I don't know, good times. This has been an interesting week. I got the chat room up in the website, and I go in there. I just kind of hang out, when I'm doing my work or writing a blog for something, and I just leave it open just in case someone wants to chat. And I don't know anybody that really does that. But it's a great feature for my purposes. Also, it would kind of be a great feature for your purposes. Maybe you're on your website, on your WordPress site. I also gosh, man, while I'm at it, I'm going to go to my website real quick. I actually found this other one. It's a, let me get to my website real quick now. It's got a this little message thing. It's another chat function. And gosh, I'm gonna have to get into it. Probably write a blog about it now. But you can, if I'm online and I log into this chat room, it'll show that on my business website. And you know, you could, if maybe you're a potential client, you call me and we can talk on there. And maybe calling's intimidating. Maybe you just want to, you know, chat. So you know, I don't know. I'll leave the details on the website, hopefully in a future blog. But anyways, I was able to talk to a new private investigator, a new business owner on top of that. And you know, Ryan, if you're listening, I just want to thank you again for that long conversation we had. I was really glad that you took advantage of the chat function, and he was able to pick my brain a little bit. You know, I don't have all the answers. I think I had all the answers for him when we were talking, at least the ones that he needed on that day. But you know what it really got me thinking about is, and maybe it's just business owners in general. It's just they've got to be go-getters. And when I was talking to Ryan, I could really tell that Ryan was a go-getter. He just wanted it. And you know, and he said business was slow, and he had implemented some different things, and he had tried some different marketing techniques, you know, and he didn't just try one. I mean, he just didn't listen to me and just try one specific one. If I'm trying to remember exactly what he said, I think he said he had went out and distributed like some crazy number of flyers all over the place, and didn't get any calls. And then I think he talked to some insurance companies, and so he got some leads with that, which was good, because if you can get in with those guys, that's some work there that you know, you can get over and over again, and it's, you know, reoccurring. It's not the one, hey, you know, is my wife cheating on me, and you know, you figure out she is or she isn't, and then it's over. The case is done, you know, and then maybe you get a referral, you know, a couple of years down the road, but you know, you just never know. So, anyways, but. And then he said gosh, I think it was White Pages or Yellow Pages or something to that effect. He took out a premium placement ad, and then he started getting phone calls. And I think I had mentioned that before. I'm almost certain I have. You know, White Pages, Yellow Pages, online. Don't do print. Over and over again, I see that seems to be a waste of time. I mean, I've seen dentists that have done print. They're paying $100 a month, and they're not getting any calls as a result of it. So, but yeah, he did the premium placement, and basically, if I remember correctly, because I have a friend who's done that as well, he gets put up to the top. So if you search, you say you're looking for Private Investigator Tacoma, you search Tacoma Private Investigator, and my name should be at the top, if not at the top. Not a lot of people do premium placement. I'm kind of fortunate. I've checked a few times. I haven't done it recently, but I've looked on there, and my name was at the top, and even when I had talked to some potential clients, you know, I always ask, well, you know, how did you find me? Sometimes just say, well, on the internet. Well, yeah, I know that, you know, or, but, you know, where, you know, I always want to know where. It's going to be important. You need to ask that yourself, you know, because then you're going to know what's working and what's not. You know, did you get a flyer? If you did, well then, okay, well maybe that thing I did worked. You gotta know what's working for you, what's not working for you. So, you know, anyways, man, I was really proud to talk to that guy. To be honest with you, I could not have done what he's doing. And I don't know his whole story, but from what I gather, it's he wanted to be a private investigator. He went and got his agency license. He read everything he could on it, and you know, he's coming along. You know, this is not an easy job, and there's so many roadblocks. You know, you have your mental roadblocks, where you know you're afraid to do something, or something's intimidating, or sometimes you just don't know how to. So because you don't know how to, that's an intimidating process. And then, you know, to have the cojones to kind of feel your way through it, I'm not that guy. I don't know that I could do that unless my back was against the wall. And, you know, and that's kind of how I got my business started, was my back was against the wall. And, you know, when you got to make money for your family, you know, that's, well, for me, I've noticed in my life, that's typically, you know, when my back's against the wall, that's when I step up and do things that are typically uncomfortable for me, and go out of my safety net areas. I don't know. I don't know. I really was glad to talk to him, and he said, well, I asked him, who are you listening to, and what are you reading? And he said he had a few blogs. I mentioned one to him that was kind of a resource, and I don't know it offhand right now. I think it's PI Buzz. It's got a lot of resources to find information. It's a really great place to go, if that's even the right one. But another one is, I think it's Digenta. He's an actual private investigator. He does blogging. I think he's been blogging for about 3 years, so he's kind of got a couple of years leg up on me. Smart guy. I've read some of his posts. I haven't read everything. I'm one of those guys that honestly is probably more worried about my own content and putting it out there, even though I should be reading and I should be listening. So, but yeah, he writes some good stuff. And if you're going to read somebody's blog or direction, he's going to be a good resource for you. There's a lot of good resources out there, but that's just the one I have to mention today. Anyways, but another reader, every week I kind of stress about, like, okay, well, gosh, what am I going to beat to death today? What am I going to talk about on the podcast today? And one of the readers, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but again, thank you, because I don't always know what people are interested in listening to, and in fact, I'll pause right there and say this: I don't check my my iTunes account very often to see what people leave. Ratings, and if you guys enjoy the podcast, and if you like it, or whatever, just go in there and give me a 5-star rating if you think I deserve it. On the topic of ratings, I go in there and check it, and I've got a new rating. I go, oh great, what did they have to say? And the person read it, and I read what the person wrote, and they said he gave me a 2 or a 3-star rating. Can't quite remember. It was low, and I was kind of hurt about it, to be honest with you. And it says something like, I listened to the first 3 podcasts. Something about gave very little, didn't like the show, the way it was laid out, and they didn't think I added any value, which was kind of that's actually when I was trying to give the most value. Like during that time, it was like, hey, if you want to be a private investigator, this is the stuff you need to think about. The first 3 podcasts, So I have a new disclaimer. If you're going to go give a rating to it, I mean, you can do whatever you want, obviously, but man, listen to more than 3. I probably have like 300 for sure listeners on here that are listening to every single podcast, which is awesome, right? It doesn't seem like a lot, but there's 300 people that want to hear what I have to say each week, or 1,000 people, or I don't know. There could be all individuals, but they want to hear it, and that's cool. If I want to get a rating or from somebody from iTunes, I would want it to be from somebody that's been through all 10, 15 podcasts, heard them all, so he knows exactly what he's gotten. He knows what he's gotten from me. He's maybe heard me get better. Now the production value is probably not going to be much better. I'm still basically working with the same equipment that I got back when I first started this, and my brother's been on me about getting better equipment, which I probably should. You guys probably might get more value out of this, but that'll happen down the road here. I've just kind of had my focus other places, not in regards to the content, but with the production value. I need to. It's just so pricey. But I'd rather buy stuff to go, hey, look what I got, and let's talk about this product and make a video out of it and write a blog and then talk to you guys about it on here. Speaking of which, I just put up a new video, and it was with this camera you mount to your windshield, and look here, I got a viewer here. How about that? And then he's gone. Sorry. Anyway, so he's mounted to your windshield, and you can record your following somebody driving. I used it to record myself while I was talking about the camera, and so anyways, it was kind of a neat camera. It was, I think I got it for like maybe $20 or something like that. and it was pretty neat. Definitely check out the video. There's plenty of reviews on this thing. This is just my review on it. The video quality was so, and maybe that was something I was doing. Maybe it was the memory card, wasn't processing the information fast enough, so it kind of looked grainy. I'm not sure. Again, it was $20 though, so what are you going to get for $20? But yeah, check out that video. So, anyways, back to one of the other the readers, listeners. He said he enjoyed listening to Audible, and just like I did. And he obviously listens to podcasts, so he wanted to know what I listen to. So I'm going to go down a bunch of these, and these aren't all business and what's the other word I'm thinking of here? They're not all PI related. I'll be honest with you, I don't even listen to PI podcasts, even though there are the other ones that are out there are pretty good. Probably much better than this one, but they all offer something a little bit different. So, but the first one I listen to is I'm kind of a fan of The Walking Dead, so I listen to The Walking Dead AfterBuzz, and basically as soon as the Walking Dead episode's done, they get on there and do a podcast, and then they go talk with some of the actors come on there, or if they have died and they're not in the show anymore, then they bring them on. So I thought that was kind of funny because the Walking Dead kills off their actors like crazy. It's something I've never seen before. It's pretty neat. I listen to my own podcast, the American Dad podcast. My brother is he's the guru. He puts the video and audio together, so you got excellent audio levels, and then he's doing something with the video now. So now we're live recording the video, which was a lot of fun to do. And then it gives the viewers a chance to see the goofballs on the show. I'm not necessarily the goofball, but we got another guy on there named Luca who's pretty funny, and my brother's funny as well. And so you can definitely check that out. If you're looking for just some dads talking about some dad topics, you're most likely a dad if you're listening to this too. I mean, most guys are adults and got their families, and maybe they're looking for a new career, so they come listen to this. I listen to Dart Talk. A lot of the stuff I like to do, I mean, I don't want to listen to, even though I want to learn about a lot of stuff, one of my leisurely listens is Dart Talk, and it kind of, they got some, he's probably one of the top 20 maybe players in the United States, and he goes on there and talks about darts and things that are happening in darts, and I find it mildly amusing. Another one is Action Dads. It's not a podcast about being a dad. It's actually another couple of dart players who probably ranked top 10 and top 10 or top 20 in the nation. They just started a podcast, and they're funny guys, and so I actually listened to a couple of theirs, and I'm going to probably continue to do so. They talk about drama and other things in the dart world. So the more serious side of podcasting, I listen to Mixer G. I definitely recommend this. He doesn't leave his podcast up forever. So if you go find Mixer G, it's MIXERGY. He'll post like one or two, and then he takes them down. And if you want to hear them all, you have to subscribe to his membership area. And he interviews entrepreneurs and how they get started, and some of it's along the internet world, and how did he get funding. It's fascinating to hear how people fail and how they succeed and why they did. But again, so when you go and you subscribe to it, if you do, you're only going to see one or two on there. So definitely check that out. I listen to, I'm involved with all this internet stuff and blogging, and I do more than one blog, and I'm starting to do videos for other things that I'm doing, and I wanted to get better at reaching out to people, kind of like I'm doing with you guys, and and that's one of the reasons why I did the three things that I'm doing. I'm doing the videos and the podcast, and doing the blog, because that way I can spread out on those three different paths, and you guys can find me. You might have searched, maybe some of you found me on the podcast, maybe some of you found me through my videos, or maybe somebody was just searching on the internet and found me through my blog. Either way, I'm trying to funnel everybody in so I can meet you all and share my knowledge with you guys. And if you find it valuable, you end up sticking with me, and we keep going down the road. Another one I listen to, and I probably mentioned this guy's name before. His name is Pat Flynn. He does the Smart Passive Income. He's the guy who really got me excited about blogging. If you go to follow him, he's a fascinating guy. This guy makes roughly, at the moment, as I'm recording this, probably about $50,000 a month. And all he does is share his information. So he shares about mailing lists. What does he do? How does he build relationships with his customers? And not all of it is applicable to the private investigator business, but you can take certain aspects of his business model, and if it even is a business model, of the building relationships, the trust, how important that is. I mean, he makes money because people trust him and like him. And I know it's a crazy. I mean, you really just have to go check him out, listen to his videos, and listen to his podcast in particular. He's got a Smart Passive Income podcast and his blog, and he makes videos. Fascinating guy. And by the way, I'm sorry if this isn't what you guys want to listen to. I apologize in advance, but I think it's good to share information like this. Even if it's not all about private investigator stuff. But I will say that a lot of the stuff that I've learned and some of the stuff that I've shared comes from these guys, and I've applied it and it's worked. I listen to the Foolish Adventure Show. He's I think the guy's like a marketing guy. He does the internet thing, but like the internet business. But he's more in the actual business world of marketing and things like that. He's a good listen. He's not my favorite, but it's just something like when I run out of things to do, I listen to it. So, anyways, for me, I listen to the. That's another thing. I got a message from somebody. He was asking me if I actually emailed me. He's like, "Hey, do you listen to the podcast Answer Man?" So my answer to you is yes, I do listen to the podcast Answer Man. Another guy who literally makes a living by podcasting. Pretty crazy. But not that I'm trying to do that, but I just, he has different things that he's doing. He literally quit his job. He's probably making $80,000 a year to do podcasting because he just had a passion for it. If you guys are, you guys want to make a lot of money as a private investigator and you have a passion for it, you're going to do it. I mean, it's just going to happen. You're going to find a way. The guy Ryan I was talking about. This guy, he's got a passion. He's got a drive. He's going to do it. He's going to make a good living doing this because he's just going after it, and it's pretty good. Anyways, I also listen to TED Talks. Now these guys, this podcast, you can watch the videos on YouTube. I think they actually have their own website, and they do it there too. Brilliant minds come on there, and they just talk about things. Sometimes they talk about business. Sometimes they talk about technology, just different ways of thinking. Just so they get all these brilliant minds on there. They don't talk super over your head. You'll get everything they're saying. But TED Talks, really a good resource. Like I said, if you guys are just trying to fill your mind with good stuff, these are the places to go. I listened to a thing called 99% Invisible, and I listened to them once. I haven't got a chance to listen to them again because actually the one time I listened to them, they talked about this bridge in Tacoma. It's called the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, and they talked about how it was built and how it just collapsed. If you guys ever look up the Tacoma Narrows Bridge and how they have video of it as it collapsed. It was only open for a very short period of time. Anyways, the production value on this was so amazing. I just listened to the whole thing, and it was pretty cool. If you guys listen to something like that, I think you'll like it. The American PI, I can't remember the gentleman's name that runs it. I've listened to probably I don't know, maybe a dozen of his podcasts, and there's a lot more than that. He's been doing this, if I remember, a few years now. He has a huge following. Paul Jaleb, I think it is. I don't know. Anyways, he gets a lot of business owners on his podcast. They talk about different things related to business. A good resource and most of the guys that are on there are veterans. They've been doing this for 20 years, and they talk about their experiences, and And then they talk about, if you want to keep up to date on then when the next conference, like the big conference, is happening, and he does back and forth with another guy. I can't remember the guy's name because I don't listen to it enough. But it's a good show. I wouldn't have listened to it 12 times if I didn't think it was okay. So definitely check that out. PI Declassified, really cool podcast. I'm getting messages on my computer here. Very cool podcast. It kind of talks about. I've seen them interview other private investigators, like regarding well, how did you become specialized in this? And they've actually done stories where there was somebody was trying to find out what happened in a certain situation, in the investigation, and what happened to the guy that killed his father, and they hired a private investigator to try to find this guy, and they found him, and it was 30 years later, the guy had murdered or he escaped from prison. I can't remember the exact thing. Really fascinating stuff. So you get a little bit of everything with that one. And she just does pretty much just interviews. And she's been in the PI community for a very long time. And again, I'm sorry if I don't remember her name, but so at least you got those two. You got the American PI, you got PI Declassified, and there's another one. I think it's the Curbside Investigator. He doesn't do his podcasts. You might have to Google him because I don't think he does a show anymore on you're not going to find it on iTunes or anything. You might have to go to a specific website. And he talks about, I listened to one, and he talked about frustrations that he had with his clients, just that particular podcast, and just real stuff, just kind of laying it out there. So, anyways, so to cover a couple of things here, if you come onto the website, if you listen to the podcast, see if I'm on there. You can go to General Chat and just see me up, say, hey, what's up? And if you guys had a question or you want to hear about something on the podcast or you want to say how crappy it is, then email somebody else. I'm just kidding. But anyway, so I'm going to go on to something else here, and the next thing I'm going to go to is my business. Let's talk about that real quick before I move on to the next big topic here. Work has been slow, and I've actually hit that paranoid point. And, this is when you start thinking, okay, well, what do I need to start doing again? Because I'm kind of getting worried. Now I'm into mid-February. Luckily, I got a call on Friday, and I got a couple cases, which is great. But it still worries me. I'm glad that people are still calling, but just again, I can't stress this enough for you guys, especially during this time of the year. For insurance investigations, save your money. Have a backup plan. I'm thinking about actually putting some focus on background checks, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to market that. How I'm going to price it. I mean, there are companies out there that do exclusive background checks. I mean, that's all they do, and they've been successful. I don't necessarily need to do it exclusively. It would be nice to just be home and write articles for you guys and do background checks. But I mean, maybe that's what you guys should think about. I mean, I don't know what your business model is and stuff like that. But maybe you should think about some other. If you're a surveillance guy, and for me, it's kind of like, okay, well, it's out of my comfort zone a little bit. You wonder why. It's just because I just haven't done it exclusively. So I'm wondering, well, is there a specific process to these background checks that I don't know about? So now I'm probably going to have to reach out and go, to do it exclusively. Now, I've done preliminary, background checks. Every case that I do, I check addresses. I check everything that you're going to do essentially not everything, but most of it. I spend, 30 minutes doing my due diligence to make sure they live where they live, what kind of person they are, see what kind of character they have, look at online court records. I'm doing my diligence that way. I'm not digging that deep. I mean, I'm not getting paid for that time, so I just try to set myself up for my surveillance to make sure I'm going to get my 8 hours, or put myself in the best possible position to get my 8 hours. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to be trying to focus on. Probably, this year is maybe focusing a little bit more on that. I don't know. I'll tell you what, guys. I'm going to end up probably documenting the process a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So today I want to talk about, even though I know we just talked half of this thing about podcasts, I probably could turn off the recorder now and be good to go in regards to an episode. But let's talk about some business resources, especially for new private investigation companies. Now, and I wrote an article. It's like article number 30. Let's see here. Article number 37. I don't know what date that was, but I wanted to put some things out there for business. Especially guys just starting their business. You want to keep your overhead low, and but you still want to have all. You want to look like a big company, or at least have all the resources like a big company, but you want to be small. You want to be to where you're not spending a ton of money. Let's talk first. Let's talk about insurance. Omissions and errors insurance. I pay, I want to say about $700 a year to have that. It's required for me to have that through the state of Washington. And what I do each year is I end up doing, I'll put $250 down, and I'll make monthly payments on my insurance. Even though I could probably pay it all at once, I'm always just kind of like, well, I don't want to give them it all at once, and then, what if something happens? I need to have a little bit of money, or maybe I decide to shut down business, I could, shut it down. So, anyways, I pay about, and then I pay like $60 a month or something like that, until the $700 is complete, and then I get like a couple free months, and then we start it all over again. And that's a million in omissions and errors. That's what it's called. That's what I pay for that. So, if you want to know what insurance company I use, I don't get any money for this, but it was just a local company down in Vancouver, Washington, and really nice guy. He's calls me every year. Hey, you ready to renew? Yep, sure am. And so that's what I do. So. Definitely, you want to have that. You always want to have. You want to have your insurance, whether it's what's required. I'm pretty sure most states are going to require that. Washington does. I'm pretty sure California does. Everybody has it. In fact, if you want to do vending as a private investigator, be a vendor for somebody, be a what they call them, independent contractors. Everybody's going to require you to have $1 million in omissions and error insurance. So errors and omissions, whatever you want to call it. So definitely check that out. And that's essentially if you screw up, somehow you don't have to get screwed on that. What else we got here? Business phone number. Again, to have a phone line, it's expensive, and I didn't want to have at least starting. Like I didn't know when I was going to get phone calls. I didn't know what kind of business was going to come in. I didn't want to have like $400 or $500 in overhead and just working for a company and not actually doing my own thing. So what I did was I had my Google Voice number, and I just had that to mess around with. It was like when they first started using it, you had to apply for it. You didn't hear for like a month before you can get a Google Voice number. I think they were just giving them out now. It's not a big deal. But I got Google Voice, and they give you a phone number. You can pick your phone number that they have available. So if you want a specific area code, and at the time I had picked a California area code for some reason. I don't know why. But you can switch it for $10. I have a Washington area code. So I don't even know. Everybody has a cell phone now. Everybody's phone is pretty much long distance free. But I got the local number, and I love it because it's not my phone number, and it has a whole different answer system. So when I call, it'll say, the person will be calling me and they have to leave their name, like, please leave your name at the beep, and you'll be like, oh, my name's Joe. And so when I get the call, it says, you have a call from Joe, and then, I can either choose to accept it, I can choose to just listen to it and let them go to voicemail, so they can just be leaving a voicemail, I can just listen, or I can pick it up, obviously. And let's say if I don't pick it up, then it goes to voicemail, and then that voicemail is transcribed, and then I get a I get a text and an email, I think, with a transcribed voicemail. Now, it's not a perfectly transcribed voicemail, but you get the gist of what they were saying in the voicemail. And then, of course, I can listen to it. And then Google has a Google Voice app, so I can call out with my Google Voice number, and I can check all my messages and everything on there, the voicemail, everything, right from my phone. I used to have to call into my number until I found that app, and that's what I would do. So it's a great alternative for a voice line. Of course, it's probably not what you want to hold on to forever. If your business starts to grow, you probably want to move on to something else. And I have a couple alternatives for you. I actually have another alternative for you, but I haven't done any research on it, and I'll probably have to talk about that on a future podcast. My other the other systems that were out there that this company just itself is really cool. It's Ring Central, and you've probably seen advertisement on my website. I don't have their phone systems, but they look reasonably priced. They're always giving away like phones and stuff like that. If you're doing any sort of steady business, it might be something you want to consider. And just go to I don't know. You don't have to click on my link. Just go there and see what they have to offer. And they have like voicemail and different options. That everybody could have their own. What's that? They have their own little number, their own little voicemail number. I don't know. Maybe if you have more than one person working for you, maybe it might work for you. Yeah, check them out. Another one was Grasshopper, and the only reason I put this on my blog way back when was because there's the guy from Mixergy always advertises this, and I guess you can have extensions. That was the word I was thinking of. Extensions for any of your employees, or maybe you have somebody that does your accounting and they don't actually have a physical business, or I don't know. You can give everybody their own extension, so if they want to dial through. So it's got this assumingly professional voicemail that does it all. Oh boy, I had some sausages last night, or tonight, excuse me. It's catching up to me. So yeah, that's another option. So you can check that out as well. Faxing, it goes back to Ring Central again. There are plenty of virtual fax systems to choose from, but if you do like virtual or fax systems reviews, you'll find that Ring Central is going to be the best one. I do use them. I spend about $100 a month for 12 months of fax service. To be honest with you, I've only used it a couple times. Not too many people are faxing these days. I'm going to hold on to it until I know that nobody faxes anymore. Like that's just going to be an obsolete thing. But $100 for a year, it's really nothing. If you really think about it, it's such small overhead for your company. So that's an option for you. I don't have another option for you. There's other ones out there. I don't know them. There's eFax, aplus.net, MyFax. Another thing, one of the reasons I wanted the virtual fax system is because, I do have a fax machine sitting here. It's not plugged into anything, but at the same time, if I'm on the road or something and I need, and I need to get a fax from somebody or something like that, I can get it from my computer. I can download it to my computer, and then take it over to Kinko's and put it on a memory card. Get it right then, or it's not. I don't have to watch a physical fax come through the fax machine. But yeah, it's a sec here. That's the reason. So maybe that's going to work for you. Maybe it's not. Let's move on. I did my first. And you can get business cards anywhere. You really can. You can go anywhere to get them these days. I got mine at businesscards24.com. I actually designed my own, which it wasn't like a fancy design. Let's see here. I got them right here. They aren't fancy. I was able to put my logo on there. Those of you are watching here, it's probably backwards here. Anyways, that's what I did. I just put the logo on there. I just put my my basic information, my license number, my email, nothing fancy. I got them shortly thereafter. It wasn't a big deal. I didn't pay. You're not paying very much for these days. But it was businesscards24.com. That's where I went through. If you're looking for a place, I can kind of vouch for them. At least my experience turned out okay. Again, this is, you can get them anywhere. This Vistaprint was another place you can go to. I didn't get it done to. Vistaprint's been around for a while. A business shirt. At the time, I wanted to, just in case I had to meet with any clients, or I was going to go maybe market to some insurance companies. I didn't know what was going to happen. Lawyer. I wanted to be prepared with a shirt. I wanted a logo. Kind of, I wanted something, a polo. I didn't want to wear any dress shirts or anything, but I wanted to have something that said Fortified Investigative Services, look halfway professional. And this company called Queensboro.com was offering a free polo with their logo, with any logo you wanted, I should say. I don't know if they're still doing that right now, so I can't speak for that. But it was embroidered, and so what I did was all you had to pay for was the shipping or something, and they sent you out a shirt. Put your logo on the shirt, whatever you design it, and then pick the color of the shirt. And I ended up getting it. It came like, I want to say maybe a month later. They don't rush these things out. And anyways, they send them out to you, and it turned out all right. The shirt was nice. The embroidery was okay. So you might want to check them out. Maybe it's going to be something for you. That was, I think, the main thing that they had in regards to the prices were good. The prices were cheap, from what I remember. But the main thing was that the shipping time seemed to take a long time. So be mindful of that. If you don't use Queensboro, it's you go to just check you can maybe check reviews on these companies. You can do that. Another company I just recently used, I think I used it to actually build this PI Vice shirt here, which is nothing fancy. It's just a little logo on a white shirt. I used my own little store, Spreadshirt.com, and I got it pretty quick, and I was kind of excited to have it. You can make mugs through them and some other little things, which I did. I made a mug. I don't have it with me here, but that's something else to check out. Let's see here. And for file sharing, I use, let's say a lot of the companies, and you'll see this when you're doing vendor work, is they want you to be able to send a video to them. They don't, we don't do tapes anymore. Almost nobody does tapes. I don't know if anybody uses tapes anymore. But they want you to send that video virtually through them, and so one of the companies I had done work for was using YouSendIt, and I think I paid. I think I wrote here. Yeah, I paid $50 a year for that. It's an amazing price to pay for that service, and they're really good. Like you upload your video, each time you upload, it's like 2 gigs you can upload at once, which is kind of the norm for most places. Let's see here. They also have, what are the other ones? Dropbox, I think. You can upload 1 gigabyte or 2 gigabytes at a time. I don't know enough about Dropbox, even though I know it's a fantastic service they got going on there. I don't know enough about it. And I've used it for other clients. I just don't know how trustworthy it is. Like, I don't know. I get kind of paranoid with that. I feel like I know that, you send it, I'm going to upload to the cloud, and they're going to download it when they're ready to download it. They're going to get an email, and they're going to click on it, and they're going to download it after I upload it. And I know it's going to go directly to them because I emailed it to them, and no one's going to have access other than to the person I emailed. So I don't know. I feel good about it. But they have a 14-day free trial. If you want to check it out, I have a big fat link on my website. Check it out if you want to on there with the 14-day free trial. If that's something you're missing out of your business, how am I going to share these things? Then definitely check them out. Okay, so website stuff. I look at a lot of people's websites. I'm always fascinated to see what they use, and then how it looks. And there's free things. I think there's like Weebly. There's WordPress.com you can go to where I don't even. It's been so long since I actually I looked at the free services out there. But I buy my domains through GoDaddy, and the reason I go through GoDaddy is that it just seems like an easier interface for me to use. I probably have like 50 domains, maybe more. I know it sounds crazy, but anyways, I buy them through there, and it's just an easy thing for me to do. And then there's always discount codes and stuff like that, which you'll probably find anywhere else as well. So I actually kind of I'm always promoting the website stuff, like, if you want business, get a good website, get ranked, yada yada, and I'm really adamant about that, and I think it's true. I mean, I just think that's the age we're in, and then of course it depends on your market and what you're aiming for. Of course, there's some people that just aren't going to be looking for that because they always have people coming to them. Why would they need to search for anybody if there's always somebody coming to them? But anyways, I've been playing around with the idea of like just picking a state or picking a city and just building a website around that. Like just almost like a fictitious private investigation company. Maybe I'll just do it for one that doesn't require a license, like Idaho. Maybe I'll just build my website around that and see if I can outrank the people that have been there for years. That would be my thing I'd like to try, maybe, just to show. And then if I start getting phone calls in Idaho, I'll be like, see, I want to show the impact of the websites. I mean, they're so powerful. Anyway, so after I buy my domain, I have it hosted on Bluehost.com. Now, you don't even need, if you want to build a website, you don't even need to go through just GoDaddy. You can go straight to Bluehost. It's $6.95 a month to host your website. And if I remember correctly, you can get the website for free. So if you find the website name that you want, and you guys should know about the website names because I've talked about that and written about that, how to do one. Go through them. I mean, there's other good places too. This is the place that I've gone through. I have like 8 or 9 websites just on Bluehost, and I only pay the same amount as I did for getting my fortifiedis.com website up. I have the PI advice is on there, and I'm still paying the same amount. And I don't know, a lot of people aren't trying to have that many websites, but anyways, yeah, if you're going to build a website, I highly suggest you go through Bluehost.com, and hopefully I'll have a nice tutorial on how to build one down the road. But yeah, that's what I go through here. Let's talk about video editing equipment. There's three things I use right now, but I'll just tell you what I basically started out with. The first thing I started out with was Pinnacle Dazzle Video Creator. Let's see here. If you're watching the video, this is the Dazzle thingy-majigger. You hook up your audio and video cables to that into your camera. This goes into your computer. Yeah, I'm sorry if you guys are listening. You guys don't get to see this, but essentially, and they give you some software. It's actually video editing software. I don't use it because it's a little bit too robust for my computer. My computer, it's either like it's got all these options. My computer just isn't fast enough to run those options, or maybe I've just I've been fooling myself, and then maybe the software isn't that great. The only reason I use the software is to extract the video from my camera to my computer, take it from there with the time shot on there. That's the only reason I use it, the software. And once I take it from there, I use Windows Live Movie Maker. I clip off the little ends where it's kind of hard to explain, but like the play button, everything stays on there for like a few seconds. I don't want that on there in the final cut. I hold on to the original in case there's a problem, and then I cut out the end because it always defaults back to a screen that's unrelated to the video. It's just like a default screen. I clip that off, and essentially you have your nice clean cut video from start to finish. Another one that I have, and I spent like $300 or $400 on this, but I only bought that for the show, for the PI Advice podcast, is Camtasia. You don't need it, but that's another option they have. It's a nice little video editing audio software kind of thing. But yeah, I'm not pushing that. The only ones you really need are this Pinnacle Dazzle video creator. You pull the videos off if you're doing surveillance, and you need to have that time shot, date, everything, and then use a Windows Live Movie Maker. Just make your little cuts at the beginning and end, and you're good to go. You can also split the video if you like. There's if you had covert video camera when you got it on something else, you got on your little your 808 car key camera. You can literally split the video, put your video in the middle of it, and then paste it back together, and it's a nice streaming of, they got out of their car, they went into Kmart, and then there's video of them in Kmart because you're getting the covert, and then you're back outside again in the video, and you're videotaping them walk to the car, etc. So that's I actually started building a video on how to use the Pinnacle Dazzle Creator. I just need to finish it, so it was just it was a lot to do at the time. This was actually months ago. So that is that. If you have any questions on that, definitely give me a holler. I'd love to talk about it. There are other options out there. I just don't trust any of them. Other people will swear by them, but I've been using this for 2 years, and it's worked for me, and I no reason to change if it's if it's working. I built some flyers probably about a year ago, and I use and they're flyer brochures. They're actually quite nice. And I built it using my brochure maker. Now, this isn't the only place out there, but I like the interface of my brochure maker. This guy built this website. It does the job, and it's got different templates for you to use. I stuck like pictures of I taken pictures of my buddy in Colorado with a nice Canon camera. And he's in his car, and so I just took pictures of him acting like he's taking pictures, and I used those pictures and I put them in the brochure. It turned out really nice. Content-wise, it took me a little bit to write. If you guys are having problems with the content, if you're like worried about what you should write, or I will be more than happy to possibly just post up mine. I don't care if you want to use and steal borrow the words, steal, whatever you want to call it. Listen, if it gets you a job, then by all means, just don't put me out of work. It depends on what state you're in. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, if you just writing's hard. I've written like 50-something articles for this website, in the PI Advice website, and it can be hard sometimes. I mean, especially when you're first starting. When I first did a video, it was hard. When I first did this brochure, I don't even know that I could rewrite another one because it took me a long time. I had to scour the words to, I looked at other websites. I looked at my own website. What else did I write? How can I make this brochure sound professional and make, maybe somebody want to call me. So if you guys want to take a look at that, let me know. I'll definitely think about putting it up there. Another place you can go to, I think, is Vistaprint. I think they had a whole brochure making thing. Now, I didn't use it, but I mean that's definitely another option for you to make. So check that out. And my brochure maker does cost money to. Once you build it, I think it's like $10 just to get that template off of it one time. So you just take it, the front and back, and basically you pay $10 to make a nice brochure, and then you take that down to Kinko's and you have them made, and you spend some more money. So, anyways, like I still have a ton of them. I didn't hand them all out. I went to specific lawyers, and I'm like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I can do for you. He's like, well, here's my brochure. And never got a call. Didn't work out. Some guys were like, well, I use so and so already, and again, it comes back to that trust thing. That who am I? I just walk in there, but hey, you got to do something, right? So, okay, so on to invoicing. I use Intuit. Quicken Home and Business, the 2012 version, to do my invoices. Now, there is a lot going on that program, much more than I use. You can do obviously do all your invoicing, but track how much money you're making and do your, I don't know, man. I'm not good with books. I basically do my invoices. And print them out, and then I take them, I put them on my scanner, make them a PDF, and then I send them out to, my clients, and that's how I do it. Now, you can kind of put your own thing on it. You can put your own your own logo on it and say, "Oh, thank you so much," and it works out. It does all the math for you and everything in regards to what they owe you and how it gives you a lot of functionality. There's a lot of functionality to it that you're gonna like. A lot of businesses do use this, so that might be something you'd be interested in. I think I want to paid $80 for it. It's probably, it looks like I wrote on here, it was cheaper to buy on Amazon. I bought mine at Best Buy. So if you're looking for invoicing software, it's a really good buy. Been using that for over a year. Love it. I think you'll love it too. Another one is FreshBooks. Check these guys out. It's cloud accounting. It's been a while since I've looked at them, but you can actually get a free account, and you can which lets you send out. I think this has been a while since I've looked at it, but it lets you send out if you had 3 invoices for free a month. But they have certain plans to go through, and just check them out. It's freshbooks.com. I think. Let me check it out here. Yeah, it's freshbooks.com. You can click on my link. It says I have my link here. I'll post this whole article that I'm reading off, refreshing my brain. You can click off that link if you're interested in it, man. You can try it for 30 days. It says on there. So definitely give that a look. Yeah, man. I mean, that's the basics right there. That's some things to consider with your new business. A lot of things you might not need all at once, but it might be very worthwhile to do so. I got one more tip for you, and if you stuck around through all of this stuff, bless your heart. My last tip for you is, and I talked to somebody about this, about Google Places. I'm always like, hey, you got a business, you better be on Google Places. Very important, because that'll help you show up higher. Possibly, not guaranteed, but higher in the search results. So, the gentleman I was talking to, I think it was Ryan. Going back to Ryan again, he had a PO box through USPS, United States Postal Service. You get the PO box, right? Well, Google Places won't allow you to put a PO box because I think they just want a physical address if they're gonna put you on there. And so he was like, well, I got it on Google Places, but all I can show is my city and state, so it doesn't give my PO box. And he thinks that might be hurting him. I'm not quite sure in regards to the results or maybe people that are calling him. But here's what you do: there's a couple options for that. If you're having a problem with that, you can go to like a UPS store and go get a box in there. And what they'll do is they'll give you a street number and a personal mailbox number. All you have to do is put your street number in there, and don't worry about the personal mailbox part. And you could have that on Google Places. Another thing is the United States Postal Service. They're now offering an additional service now, which you pay a little bit more for, but it will give you a street address. So you can go to Google Places and do that, and you'll have a street address to put in there. So it's not a P.O. box. So it's kind of cool. I haven't done it, but I heard this from other private investigators. So you're going to have to look through their website and look at their, post office box part of their website, maybe your local USPS website, and check that out. From what I also understand is they also send you a quick email anytime you get mail, so you don't have to go down there and check and be like, oh crap, I drove down here for nothing. They'll send you an email and saying, oh, you've got mail in your mailbox, and you have a reason to go down there. You're not wasting your time. So, anyways, you know what, guys? We talked a long time. We're almost coming up on an hour. It's craziness. So, anyways, guys, this isn't. This has been a different podcast, big time. It's been a different podcast than usual, but it was kind of fun for me because I got to talk about things that I like to do, and got to talk about some business equipment, and the podcast stuff is always fun, and obviously I'm going to go ahead and plug it. I've been working, so I got to listen to the podcast today because I worked today. And I'm going to start being able to listen to my books again because I don't want to waste them. Like if I'm at home, I'm typing stuff up and I'm doing like internet stuff, and I want to save those podcasts and those Audible books for when I'm out in the field and and I'm really bored. And I can't do much other than watch and listen, I guess. And so I haven't done anything with Audible recently. I haven't listened to the book Rework any more than I had already. But if let's see if what's that? Yeah, okay. So if you want to try the free 30-day trial and get your free book, you can go to audibletrial.com. I probably Fred have been saying this the wrong way to you. So audibletrial.com/PI Advice Podcast, and you guys will give me the credit. I'll get recognized by Audible by sending you there, and you guys can get your 30-day free trial, no obligation. Get your free book, listen to it, love it, and then you'll be hooked. I mean, especially if you're sitting in your car all day doing surveillance, you're gonna love this. Also, so even if you don't have Audible anymore, if you don't want to do Audible, you've got all those podcasts to listen to that I've mentioned. Maybe not the Dart ones, but certainly some of the other ones business related that may help you, inspire you. I'm always on the Facebook page, Private Investigator Advice and Tips. Check that out. I basically post a lot of my stuff on there. If I've done a post or I've done a video, or I'll be posting this podcast on there, you can definitely it kind of gives you a heads up. Another thing going on. So we got the chat room, we've got the Facebook page. We also got an email list I'm building now, and this is for maybe something future down the road. Now I'm not going to spam you with anything. I'm not going to sell it. Your email, of course, I would not do that. But I'm just building up people who are interested in hearing more from me, or down the road, maybe on a special project. Maybe you want to participate in a survey. I'm trying to think. I don't have a big enough email list yet to just only give the survey out to the dedicated listeners that would sign up for the email list. But yeah, I'll get to that down the road. But anyways, if you want maybe some special stuff that's maybe not on the podcast videos or on the blog, then definitely sign up for that. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I've got a lot of content yet that I haven't shared, and so I only maybe just have something special for the guys that want to sign up for the email. So definitely do that. It's on the right-hand side. It's on the bottom. Check that out. And of course, and I'm thankful to my listeners. Thank you guys so much for kicking down like topics and stuff for me to talk about. I really appreciate it, and hopefully, I get this production on this podcast up and better. And if you're watching the video, this is my first go around. The audio might not be that great, but thanks for sticking it out. And you guys, listen. Ask yourselves today: what have you done for your business? What have you done to make yourself a better private investigator? Especially if you're new, pick up a book. Listen to a podcast, go to a seminar. You got to feed your brain, and I'm due for some feeding as well. I've actually bought about 5 different books, and maybe I'll talk about them on a later date. But I've got to do some more reading. I got to do some more feeding, so I can share that stuff with you. So, okay, guys, thank you again, and you guys take care out there. Be safe, and I'll be looking to hear from you guys this week, so we can talk about some more great stuff or some stuff that you guys are interested in. So thanks again, and I'll see you in the chat room. What? I did my first live one? That's craziness, guys. I know nobody watched this. I think I saw 2 people coming to the video. This isn't the most exciting thing to watch, but if you did, I'm just trying it out. I'm probably going to have to do something with my brother on here, maybe get him on here, and I'm going to have him as a future guest anyways, but he's got the better video setup, so maybe that's what I should do next time. But if you did watch the recording of this, that's awesome. Thanks for watching. We'll see if this catches on. Maybe, I don't think anybody's doing anything live, so or even recorded, but I just thought I'd try it out. So thanks again, guys, and I'm going to go ahead and stop this video.